Welcome to a galaxy far, far away. Here at the Cantina Podcast, we provide top shelf service, including rumors, leaks, news, and reviews. Come in, order a Loman Ale, and remember, no droids allowed. And hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Cantina here on the GenreVerse podcast network and YouTube channel. You'll have to forgive me. I'm a bit frazzled. I did a clean install because I changed motherboards and my Zoom stuff, my OBS stuff. I've been trying to piece it back together the last couple of days. So I'm a bit frazzled. Things not going as well as usual, but hey, we're here. We're gonna make it through. This is the Cantina. We'll be reviewing Andor season 1 episode 12, the season 1 finale. I'm Kyle. That's Cam, and guys, make sure you follow us on your favorite podcast app. Make sure you are subscribed. If you're watching us on YouTube, that helps us out a lot, and we really do appreciate it. We got a lot of great content: anime, Marvel, Star Wars, anything and everything you can imagine in entertainment, geek, and pop culture. Lots of shows, 5 main shows, reactions on the YouTube channel. A lot of really good, great stuff. This episode probably going to be fairly static because I don't have my Stream Deck set up for the new computer completely yet, including this scene collection in OBS. But that's okay. That's okay. You can just stare at both Cam and I because he's stolen a phone.
Yeah, I've stolen my daughter's phone, which seems to be working, which pretty much confirms it's a hardware issue on mine.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
I haven't got a new one yet.
I guess let's go ahead and start like we normally do with a spoiler-free review and grade for Andor episode 12. Cam, you go first.
Okay. I mean, I thought it was a good finale to an excellent season overall. In terms of the kind of story that we're being presented with, I think it wraps things up succinctly, but still in a way that a season 1 should, that teases us that there's more to come, that this story isn't finished. So in that respect, it was good. Once again, shout outs for cinematography, score, the acting's all phenomenal once again. I would say it's not my favourite episode of season 1. I don't think there's anything specifically wrong with it as such that causes that. I just think there were superior overall episodes. Namely, I would think probably, I think it was it episode 3, I think, and episode 6. I thought were pretty good. Is that the ones I'm talking about?
I believe so.
I don't know. Maybe it's not 6 I'm talking about at all. So, I think the final one of the, what was that, 9? Was that 9? Yeah, 9 was good. The one where they jump off.
There was several really
there was some good episodes,
yeah.
basically.
I think
and all I'm saying is this wasn't
10,
my favourite,
but whatever.
But it was still a really good episode, and kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't that surprising in terms of what we kind of thought where things were going to go, but that's okay because it's not really about that. It's not about trying to sort of surprise you and shock you in the finale. It's to see where these characters go. It's a character show. It's very much based on them, and we get some nice resolutions to the current arcs people are on, and setups for where they possibly could go next. Obviously, in Andor's case, we have a more clear idea of where he goes next because we know where he ends up.
Just a little bit of an idea where he goes.
Any of the other characters, and that kind of leaves things very open. But I was very satisfied with it as a finale, Kyle, and I gave it an A. Which, considering every episode I've either given A+, A, or A-, kind of, it's putting it at the top end, but not quite as good as some episodes. That's where I'm sitting.
I liked a lot of what's in here. The saving grace for it, which I think is also going to be what most people don't like, is that there is more to come. So they wrote this and ended it as such, that hey, we've got more more coming your way. I did. We'll get into the after credit scene later, but it was something you and I had mentioned in an earlier review where we were like, we really hope it's not that, but it could be. And
but, and there were reasons for that, which we'll talk about when we get into spoilers. And I did say last week it had leaked, and I wasn't going to tell you anything about it. That was the part that kind of had leaked already. So it wasn't really relevant to the finale, I don't think, because a post-credit scene's a post-credit scene, and we'll talk about that when we get into spoilers. Nothing just now, but
So its pacing wasn't what I think most people would expect of a finale for something with Star Wars on it, but it felt like the finale for book 1 of a 3-book series in the EU. So I'm completely okay with that. I gave it an A-. I do feel like, I do feel, I am. I feel like, especially this isn't a spoiler because we know what's her name died, but the funeral procession scene. You know me, I've got less patience these days, and that was one of those where I was like, we could have cut 10 seconds here, 5 seconds there.
I kind of thought you might feel that. I'd have that inkling that you might feel that
and it's really just it comes down between the director / editor / showrunner. In this case, you've got like all three in one show. They're not combined like you often see in a Marvel or other Star Wars shows. So I do allow some, people have different creative ideas than I do, but solid overall, and left me relatively excited for what comes next. But like I mentioned last week, I do have some fears about what comes next because of the reaction, almost lukewarm reaction this show has gotten from a lot of fans, and it makes me worried that we're going to end up with Rebels characters out the ass in season 2.
So you're kind of, I get where you're coming from. You're worried that they'll shove in more, they'll mandate that more of that stuff has to get shoved in because it seems to be what fans are looking for. I don't think Tony Gilroy would go for that.
That's what you said last time, but I don't know. I also honestly didn't think Bob Iger would come back to Disney. So
yeah,
there's that for what it is worth. Yeah, man, you ready to dig into some spoilers here?
Mm-hmm.
Let me write down this timestamp. So let's just go ahead and start with. I don't know. I
mean, it's kind of like so. There's like one story going on. It's like all the little story threads that we've had are
all
coming
leading back to
one place, other than Mon Mothma's story, which still remains slightly separate, and which makes sense. So you wouldn't have expected Mon Mothma suddenly turn up on FedEx in the last episode. Oh,
I would have been mad.
Everybody. That would have been a She-Hulk thing. I mean, the comedy ending, that they went for. So I guess it's like, where do we start? I mean, it's kind of like one continuous thing. So I guess you could pick different characters' viewpoints. I don't know if that.
Well, let's just talk about Andor himself. Let's Andor coming back on and coming back home. His whole ordeal of let's go get Bix and out of the hotel. Everything lines up for his character. I thought they would have worked in young dude's manifesto more throughout the series after he got it, but this was really the only time we got a lot of
we heard more of it here than we have previously, and there's a lot of good stuff in there as well. I think it's well written by the screenwriters.
Right. I dug that.
But I mean, it could come up again. It could be used where they do something again. But I think there's been in the canon, there's been a lot of these kind of, like in Rebels, there's a message that Ezra Bridger sends to the whole galaxy, and that happens not too long after this as well. And to the point where you'd maybe expect a show like Andor. I mean, that's at least one Rebels reference you could get to maybe deal with that. Do you know what I mean? Or to like say, "Oh, have you seen this?" and mention it.
Right.
But I don't know. Do we need then this manifesto being something that's sent everywhere as well? I kind of liked how it feels like though Cassian's been listening to it. And he's been kind of absorbing it. So when he's a moment on his own, that's what's playing before he kind of makes decisions where he's going to go next. And the easy option for him would be, he's still got money, would be just to piss off, quite frankly, even at the point where he does rescue Vix. And it kind of makes sense because they're all looking for him. They all leave where, to go and get him, and he kind of just doubles back using the tunnels that Marvel had already told us about, and comes round and gets her back out again. It actually makes perfect sense. But he could have jumped on that ship and went away with basically what is his family at that point. And I think what's clear is for him, and that's where the manifesto I think comes in, is that he's already made that decision consciously that that's not what he wants anymore.
Not anymore. And I think that's a great way to look at it. I mean, the whole journey has been, the whole point of this is how do we get to the guy we meet in Rogue One when he blasts his contact, his informant, his fellow rebel to keep him from falling into enemy hands and being able to leak stuff. And it all leads up to that big moment there at the end with the Stellar and Skarsgård, and either kill me or bring me in, let me into this rebellion. I'm ready. I'm set. Let's do this.
And you can kind of see in Skarsgård's face, there's the moment of consideration between the two choices. He's weighing up the pros and cons here at this point, but I think he also knows there's an asset there, and the fact that he's coming to him willingly means you are now a tool I can use in this war, and that's kind of more important to him right now than just saving himself. Ultimately, is to advance the cause further, isn't it?
I agree. Let's talk about the ISB side of things, Dedra, specifically. She kind of has a lot of stuff going her way, and then the crowd during the funeral procession, boy sets off a pipe bomb, a high-tech pipe bomb. You get to see her actually panic. The one thing I kind of, and this is where it lost some points for me, is I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what they're trying to portray in her, with the amount of panic she got. If this is the first time she's ever had any type of action, I get it. We had a guy in the Army. He was the biggest shit talker on our way to deployment. The very first mission, the first round that buzzed off, dude flipped, like lost it, got super scared. His truck commander had to take over the gunner position because he wouldn't get back up in the hatch. It was, you never know what's gonna happen till you're there. No. But it completely puts her into a new position, because after Syril, that's his name, right? Syril?
Yeah.
Something like that. When he saves her, and you see them in their quiet little moment where he's got her to safety, her panic almost, you can almost see now where he's going to be able to take advantage of that. And I'm not quite sure I like that
she owes
angle.
him one now.
Right, but also you almost get to that white. It wouldn't be a Florence Nightingale, because that's when she would have taken care of us, Sikkim. not really a Stockholm. Like I don't know what the word is for it, but she's gonna have this. I'm worried they're gonna.
Do you mean the masculine,
like a white knight type thing?
So
you know,
that she needed a man to save her.
No.
Do you mean like that point of view?
No, just the fact that she does get
just from
saved.
a character point of view.
Yeah, just the fact that she got saved by him, and if they play, I don't know how it will play out. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if we're gonna see her all of a sudden be like, oh well, my hero, which can be a fine, great storyline because you could really play into the whole like how messed up is this dude. I mean, followed her across the galaxy. You know,
they're going to end up getting into a fairly toxic relationship. I'm not necessarily saying it will be a sexual relationship, by the way, but it doesn't need to be. I think that was key that was going to happen because of his obsession with her, and probably it's representative of a bad choice she's making because maybe previously she was making the right choice and going, just get out of my face, pal, go away, no interest. And now that this has happened, it's probably kind of the catalyst, if you like, for why she'll then start making bad decisions and bring him in, because I don't think he will be any good for her whatsoever.
No,
he is
not at all.
A particularly moral person. He's a bit of a creep, and
exactly,
he's not that good at his job or what he thinks he's good at either. So I just don't see it being of a benefit to her, but possibly of a benefit to him in his mission to just find this Cassian Andor, which has become another obsession. He's an obsessive personality. He's obsessing about her. He's obsessing about Cassian. I think he was obsessive about his job when he was in the previous sort of security division that he was working for as well. I think that's what we can see as a part of his character. And there's an undercurrent of that in Dedra as well. But it's not. It's more honed. It's more, learned how to adapt and hide that amongst other people. That you can't necessarily wear that ambition on your sleeve because you'd be found out in the Empire. So she's more savvy with it. But I think they have both got that inside them. And I totally agree with you in terms of, to me, it was just representative of how panicked she was that she's not used to being in this type of situation. She didn't know if she was going to get out that situation, despite her being the commanding officer of that whole place at that time. She still had to be saved by some random guy that was following her across the kind of galaxy, if you like, because the troops, everything that she had in place didn't work out, and it just really, really scared her, because I think she's absolutely convinced and probably has never been in situations where the Empire don't just take complete control of a situation.
Exactly. And it all just comes down to how they execute it going forward. Whether or not she ends up making moves out of some misplaced appreciation, or he ends up abusing the situation, or she gathers her senses and says, okay, you're a tool that I can use, and keeps her head on straight. There's a few ways it can go forward.
But it's good to know. It's good to know that there are possibilities we can't quite guess as to where that relationship's going.
Exactly. I'm just curious as to how it will play out, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually surprised we're gonna be following. Not as the series went along. Of course, I figured Syril would stick around for more. But originally, like after those first 3 episodes, I was like, we might never
see him again. Yeah.
And if so, it might just little touchback type moments. And we said either way we would be fine, and here we are, definitely gonna see him in season 2, I would assume, and I'm fine with it. So what else is there really to cover? The stuff we kind of already mentioned, the stuff with Luthen. So I guess Mon Mothma, who cleverly plays into the Empire a bit, accusing her husband of gambling, so that way the Empire's aware that
there was a coldness in that from her, to take that calculated with. I mean, we get that she's clearly not in love with this guy, like we love our spouses, but but still, that was cool. That's all I'm saying.
And now the
Like,
Empire's
I
got...
didn't gamble, it was me.
I know, right? Now the Empire's got an angle that they think they can mess with. She's got some wiggle room for missing money.
And that's what it was all about.
Yeah, and now you've got the daughter being shown quite happily to her future husband.
But then we kind of, we get that though because of what we saw last week. That makes sense to where her character is. She's not old enough to make that kind of decision. She's young and impressionable at this point. And that's exactly when you shouldn't make big life decisions like that. But it's a different culture, and we have that in our own cultures and Earth, different cultures. Even our own, if we go back in the past enough, had a lot of similarities there as well. We used to do that. So, it's not uncommon, but still, to me, it kind of highlights that it's not right. That makes sense.
Absolutely. And it's almost a shame how little we got of Mothma's situation, and I'm hoping that expands a lot more in season 2. But it is called Andor.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was going to say. Like,
it is called.
I kind of like that we've got this much because most shows would try and minimize that even more. And I like that they're giving us as much as they have given us. It kind of almost feels like not the Andor and Mon Mothma show, but the Andor show brackets plus a bit of Mon Mothma.
Yes.
It makes me like a 0.5 of a lead character, if you like. And it is a different story at the moment, even though it's intrinsically connected to what's going on.
Yes, and it just makes me sad that we didn't get more of the politics, more of the inner turmoil, more and inner, I mean, within the Empire.
Yeah, but this is, why? Because they took the wrong lessons from the prequels. They took the wrong lessons. They thought people didn't like them because of the politics. We don't care about tax routes at Star Wars. Okay, take all the politics at anything. It's not what it was about. That was never the issue with them. It was. They were
just awful
many other things.
Amongst other things. So yeah, all of the storylines tidied up real nice and neat. Sorry, alarm. All of the storylines tidied up nice and neat. It was great to put it all together that way, hand it off into season 2, man.
Yeah, I think there's a few questions like I've still got that I hope are explored in season 2. I'm wondering what's going on between Vel and I can't remember her name now. Oh, God damn it.
Well, one of them is I know who you're talking about. Her lover, somewhat
it's like
lover.
She came back, and I think she was expecting a completely different reaction that she never got. And because they never gave us any dialogue between them, we were left to kind of what's going on here. And you kind of think with her being Mon's cousin, we will see more of Vel in season 2. So I'm kind of interested to see what's going on there.
I took it as Vel, whatever, is really she's down with the cause, but it's not her being. Her being is the girl, and seems to be having issues with the fact that for the girl, the cause is number one.
Yeah, I wonder if it is that, and I wonder if that's going to cause them problems going into season 2 because she'll choose
the rebellion over the relationship.
I think you're right, then if we gave them both a choice, save your partner or protect the rebellion, they would make different choices, both of them.
Yes,
and that could provide some kind of dynamism in terms of wherever they decide to take the story. I mean, it's possible they could decide just to not focus on those characters at all in season 2. Again, it's one of those things that we just can't say for certain.
Yeah, man. Anything else to go over here?
Just, I guess I liked that. The little bits we saw of Luthen where he was kind of just in the shadows, falling around, and kind of without really having any dialogue this week. Mm-hmm. We still kind of, again, because Stellan Skarsgård is so amazing, that we kind of felt we knew what was going through his mind throughout the whole episode, though. That was quite well done, I thought, until we get to the end. And that's important because I think the decision that he makes is an obvious one. We know it's happening because we know what happens to Andor's character, but we don't know what happens to Luthen. So I'm kind of more interested in that aspect of things at the moment and where his character goes. So, yeah. But, yeah, great finale. Really brilliant season 1. In my opinion, the best Star Wars show that we've had
overall,
under Disney. Yeah, I would go further than
overall.
that, and I would say it's the best overall Star Wars product under Disney, like from start to finish.
Yeah.
And
agree.
Going by that, and that we're not prequel fans, that also then translates to being the best thing since the old trilogy.
Basically, yes. You know, this
might
is
not be
overall.
Cup of tea, but for us, this is
100% agree. This is definitely better than Rogue One, even though Rogue One was fine. It was good, even.
It's better than Rogue One, yeah.
But this is better, and by all means is the Star Wars we've been wanting, and I don't get people that don't want it.
What about that finale, the kind of post-credit scene?
Okay, so yeah, the post-credit scene. God, 27th. So having it be connected to the Death Star, something that we had mentioned in the prison episode, where like, well, what if he's building parts of the Death Star? That would be dumb.
You know, the episode of the prison. That's when we started talking about it. You know?
And I was like, the whole reason why it's dumb, ladies and gentlemen, it's an unnecessary connection. It was great when it's just another cog in the Imperial machine. All of the other war machines out there. What it makes me afraid of now is that there's going to be some line later on where it's like, yeah, those pieces from that prison, they went into the Death Star that he doesn't even know anything about yet. Like,
enough credit. I think if you
then why do it even? It was dumb. It was pointless.
That's not necessarily true.
What's good about it? Then?
I would agree with you. You don't have to answer the question, right? So I would say that's true, right? You do not have to answer the question. But to me, it wasn't as if it would be 100% better if you don't. I was okay if you know that was the result, because ultimately, Andor as a story is building up very much to the Death Star, and the Death Star is a very important part
that he
of that,
knows nothing about.
Rogue One is the finale, absolutely. But that's exactly the reason why it shouldn't really be brought up. It should be there just to say, you know, this as a tie-in to say, you know, it's just one of those cool things is that what he gave his life to protect against, he actually at one point was in a prison building along with these other
and it's
prisoners.
just so...
It's okay to me.
It's so Disney Star Wars, though.
I mean,
like,
they could, like, put it in your face in season 2, but I
hope
would trust the writers that they've got in place. If it's as good quality as season 1 was, then they won't do that, because there's no need for it.
But if that hadn't been in there, I don't know. Like I said, it feels very much like a Disney Star Wars-ism, and I don't like Disney-isms in my Star Wars. I rather hate Disney-isms in my Star Wars these days.
I mean, it makes perfect sense for the universe. It makes perfect sense that
it's a giant galaxy, though.
Yeah, it's a giant
there's
galaxy.
more parts to the war machine than the Death Star.
One they talk about, but think of the resources and the secrecy that is going into the Death Star at this time.
Look how close it is.
Because once they complete it, the Emperor knows it doesn't matter what anybody else does after that.
And look at how much of it is completed by then. Even though in Rogue One we see them placing in the super laser in Rogue One, like. You're not going to have that much complete. 5 years and everything except for the super laser is done. I mean,
it might be just the outer fixing.
It's an annoyance.
Maybe they've still got to plumb the toilet.
It's an annoyance.
You know, get the turbo lifts working. You know,
sure. That's what bugs me about it. Is they needed the part to be. So why not just show if they really needed it to be that big, it should have been cogs not on the super laser with the majority of the body already completed. It should have been bolts or brackets for part of the body.
See, the problem you've got with that is they kind of already said elsewhere that the superstructure was built like. I think you see it. There's something in Rails. I can't remember exactly, but I think the Geonosians end up helping build the superstructure, which they kind of designed anyway. So I think that's probably why they went for the kind of. But this was a part for the super laser rather.
I guess. Like I said, it's a Disney-ism that just kind of makes the time wonky for me, and was just completely. We know he has a deal with a date with the Death Star at the end. Having it be like, oh, this was built with his own. It's not going to pay off because he will never know that.
Right.
And if they do make him know it in some way, I'll lose my shit.
Yeah, but he shouldn't know. I mean, that wouldn't make any sense because it wouldn't then fall into place with what happens in Rogue One, which Tony Gilroy was very much involved with as well. So I don't see it happening. I think he knows where he's going with it.
I hope.
And I don't have the same issue with it that you do. But I would have an issue with it if they did that and they make more of that than they need to. It's done. That's it.
Yeah, let's hope so. All right, then. I think that's it. There wasn't a whole lot of Star Wars news. The biggest news related directly, indirectly, of course, Bob Iger returning to Disney. There's
lots of
rumors about Kennedy and whatnot. Cam and I have kind of stated for a while that we felt she's in as long as she wants to be at least through Indy. And I think that's still very, very likely.
Last weekend, I think our contract was renewed 2021. That's what it was. We were talking about it last time. And I think it was 3 years. So it's 2024, which will be after Indy. Yeah. I could honestly see her retiring, but I don't see her getting moved on by Disney.
No, not
especially
now,
not by Iger.
No, so, and that was the thing. Iger was a bigger fan of hers than others, I believe. They were very, very... he was one of the ones that came out and was like, she's not going anywhere, people. She's here.
And we have to remember, a lot of the blame for the sequel trilogy has to fall at Iger's door because he was the one that denied them all idea of pushing back the release dates, remember? Kennedy was behind Jar Jar Abrams. In terms of wanting to push it back, he said no, push ahead. I want it on that date, and that's why we got such a rich sequel trilogy ultimately, because they were hitting the target dates, and that was more important to Iger than the quality that was at the other end.
Speaking of endings, guys, I think that'll do for this episode of the Cantina. Check out lrmonline.com every day for all entertainment news, needs, and opinions. All of our podcasts like Anime-Versal Reviews, can you guess what we do there? Daily Cog and Breaking Geek, which cover everything in geek and entertainment news. This show doing Star Wars, Marvel Multiverse Mayhem will be back after the Thanksgiving holiday, all on your favorite podcast apps like Spotify or Apple, Stitcher, Google, all that. And of course, here on the YouTube channel, you get all of those in video format, so you can look at our ugly mugs. Most of us have ugly mugs. A few of us are slightly better. And then my wife, gorgeous. Anyways, it's nice save. Whew. And we got anime reactions, trailer reactions, and more content on the YouTube channel. Written reviews, celebrity interviews, and more news articles go up on the website, lrmonline.com. Cam, anything else you want to put out?
No, that you pretty much covered it all.
It's back to news next week, guys. So
let's hope there might be some news. Lucasfilm is going to have a panel at Brazil, CCXP. So we might, you never know.
Maybe a new Mandalorian trailer or something. February for that, right?
More than likely as Lucasfilm, so probably what we'll get is fuck all. But that's just par for the course for Lucasfilm at these things. So
there you go. All right, guys. Hope you all have a good Thanksgiving if you celebrate that, and if you don't, regardless, may the force be with you.